And what do we have here? Oh, my roommate's chilling in the hot tub. What's up, Enzo? High five. What's up? Get in, drink a beer, chill. Little Saluspa Miami hot tub. Now, I'm a hot tub person. I had a really nice one years ago at a house in the suburbs, and I've been missing it for a while. And this one is actually, behind me, is an inflatable, which I used to think they were kind of cheap, but they've really come a long way. They've done a good job with this one. And as you can see, we're in the city outside downtown Chicago. It's 83 degrees today in, what are we, September still, which is good. So we'll see how it is when it gets cold, but from other people I've heard, this thing will hold 104 degrees if you keep the cover on. And fun little toy in the fall. We'll see how it does in the winter. I used to have my other one in the winter, and you get some wind ripping through there, you'd end up with like frost on the tips of your hair and your ears would be freezing. But I still like my hot tubs. I sit in there for hours. So if you're a hot tub person, take a look. We'll see what we can do here. I'll get her uncovered. It has a really good cover. It's inflated, and you can see like here, it's actually inflated and it keeps the heat in. I'll do a little review here so you can see some of the things and the features of it. All right, so I've taken the clips off, and there's clips all the way around it, which you want to make sure you put them on because it helps hold the spa lid down to keep it insulated and hold the heat in. The heat works really well, at least this time of year. If I set it on 100 and knock it down to 97, come back 4 or 5 hours later, it's still set at 100 and the heater has been off for hours. So you definitely want to use your cover, but let's pop it off and you can see. It's inflatable underneath. You definitely want to inflate this piece before you put it in the cover, because I've seen people inflate it first and try and fit it in there. Just read the directions. And there you go. Neat little spa. You get spa kits, they come with some of these little floaty things. They keep some of the gook and the oils and stuff that come out of your skin. You want to keep something like that, get a spa kit. Actually, you get a full kit and you can kind of learn the ins and outs of it. Then you can buy pieces if you want to use bromine or chlorine. I personally like chlorine. And then you have pH up, pH down, alkalinity up. Let's see, anti-foam, so all the oils in the skins. You want to take a shower typically before you get into spa if you're one of those people that puts a lot of lotions and stuff, because all that stuff, your deodorants, your lotions, your skin oils, your hair products, face products, whatever you use, will come off in the spa and start really building up over time. But this kind of helps offset some of that stuff. Here's kind of a close-up of what I mentioned, those clips. They're like a 3-piece. You almost need to squeeze the side and the top. They actually work really well. They did a good job putting handles on this. You won't be picking this up full of water, but it's when it's full of air, you can move it around and place it before you have it set. Now they have mats you can set underneath, like underneath here. I didn't use one because this is pretty smooth surface. I just swept it, make sure it's clean. The bottom is padded, which is really nice because when you're in there, it's not like you're sitting on hard concrete or whatever. It does a really good job. And you can see the filters in here. Let me show you those. One of them is this, and this is your chlorine dispenser. You put chlorine tablets, or if you're using bromine, and it will dispense it throughout. Kind of give you a little bit of way to do it, but sometimes you can use just the tablets. And then right here is a filter. I'll show you the filter in a minute without taking that apart and make it a little easier. Another thing you might want to use that I did, keep it back here, is a little skimmer. It's like only a few bucks, but you can just kind of skim the top, get all your bugs and junk off of here. Because that happens here in Chicago anyway. How about the rest of wherever you're from? It usually stays pretty clean. Had it a week now. Chemicals stay pretty well on, but our water here is pretty good. When I filled it, it was, I think everything was on except it needed a little chlorine. That was it, honestly. I filled it from the faucet. Here's the control panel, which is nice. They made an improvement from a few years ago. Tilts up if you're in the spa so you can see it, and down flat so you can see it now. Behind us you can see there's cup holders. Nice. Neat little design. It has carrying handles on the side so you can easily carry it when you connect it to the spa. And let me show you how this works. You hold this for 3 seconds, it locks automatically. So you constantly have to do that. I've had mine on the whole time. Green here means heat is off. If it turns red, heat is on. Red here means the pump and the filtration is on. It's set at 97. If you want to change the temperature, 88, 99, 100, it'll flash for a few seconds. As soon as it locks, it's set. So now you see it turned red, the heater's on. It's gonna start heating. It usually heats, even with the top off and I'm in it at night, in like 2 hours it'll jump up to from 97 to 100, which gets really hot. So it's all in your preference. And like I said, once it gets cold out, that will change, I'm sure. But typically hot tubs only go to 104 degrees. Nowadays, I think there's some older models that used to go hotter, you might find, but I think for safety reasons, you don't really need to go much hotter than 104. As I said, they've improved this over the years. They've done a few little things that have made it better, the pump being one of them. And let me show you how this works. Hold this for a few seconds and the bubbles turn on. It might get a little loud here. Sorry. Ta-da! The thing works great. I sit in here at night, as I said, in the city, under the stars. Got a nice little setup here. Make use of my terrace. Unfortunately, some other people only have balconies and they can't fit these on there, and I don't think they can hold the weight anyway, because this is actually 4 stories up. We're on the roof of a 4-story, is the parking garage for the building. And they made a nice little tree-lined street here, just on this floor for the terraces. It's a nice little thing that I wanted to make use of. I actually have a little deck box here. I have a folding hammock in there. Another little toy. Like I said, make use of it. Okay, now one of the problems you get, like I said, from all the things in here, you want to get some type of anti-foam. Now, all you need to do, squirt a little of it in there. That's probably too much, but usually all you need to do, squirt it in there and it gets rid of all that foam. One of the definite necessities for a hot tub. Okay, and then turn it off. Boom. I think there's like 110 jets or something like this. It basically falls around the perimeter. But again, they did a really good job. It's very sturdy. They say it holds 4 people. You're more like 2 adults and 2 kids in the picture, but your legs would be wrapped all around each other. So that's kind of a stretch, but doable, I suppose. Honestly, I've only been in this one by myself so far. When I had a big 10-person one years ago, had plenty of people over, had lots of fun. So I'm kind of looking forward to seeing what we can do with this one. Let me get into some other things about chemicals now. I laid out some of the chemicals just so I could do a kind of a run through of some of the chemicals you'll need. Now, before any chemicals, the first thing you're going to need is test strips. I think these are the same ones that are used in pools, but they're pretty easy. Keep them dry. I'll show you how to use those in a little bit. You're most likely going to need some type of chlorinating concentrate or bromine. I don't use bromine, I use chlorine. You'll usually have to add that daily, especially if you're in the spa daily. This is something you'll have to add. You can get little books that will explain it to you. You can look online. There's a lot of aids that'll help you. The next thing is you're gonna need an alkalinity increaser, because if you need to increase your alkalinity, you'll need that. As you saw, where's my anti-foam? Oh yeah, the anti-foam. For when you have foam, put some of that in there. If your pH is off, now that's important. You want pH decreaser or pH increaser to adjust the pH. Now the pH is kind of, if I say this right, don't beat me up, it's like the body balance of oils and moisture and chemicals on your skin. You want your pH to be right. That's why they say like pH water. Everyone's all about pH positive water for alkalinity, yada, 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 whatever. I don't know.
Target lost.
Whatever, I don't even know what I'm talking about. But you definitely need the pH to be just right, alkalinity, chlorine. Now, another thing they give you with this spa is extra filter, and I quickly showed the chlorine dispenser, which you can use it, or you can sprinkle some of the, if you have dissolvable, fast dissolved crystals for the chlorine, you can sprinkle those in there, which I do. They say not to, but I only use a little at a time and they dissolve pretty quickly. Your filter, you get two. One is in there in the container, or filter holder, and here's an extra one. You want to clean that, they say once a day. To me, that sounds a little aggressive, but what do I know? I cleaned mine once yesterday. Yeah, yesterday was a week. You just take it, rinse it out with a hose or your kitchen sprayer and pull the little veins apart and get all the dirt out of there. I was actually shocked. Mine is always really clean. The water's clean. I haven't had water color problems. We have pretty decent water here in Chicago. I didn't have any problems. And I even use, you can buy like these little bags. They're a little, if I can get one out of here, little tiny little like satchels of scent from different companies. Now you want to be really careful what you put in there. You don't want to put any kind of essential oils or anything like that will destroy everything. These are Inspiration. I think they had their patent back in like 1988 or something like that. You can put these in there. It's a light scent. I think you can put more if you buy the bottle instead of the little packets, but you can buy the packets to go through the flavors to see which ones you like, or flavor scents, which ones you like. And it doesn't affect anything, doesn't affect your pump, the tubing, the spa. It doesn't leave any residue. So I would highly recommend you be careful if you use scents other than certain brands that are made for spas and hot tubs. But the chemicals is kind of a daily maintenance thing. It's not really that hard once you get the hang of it. But let me show you how to do the test strip. Now, as I mentioned, one of the most important things is keeping the chemicals right. You need the test strip to do that. As I said, keep them probably inside somewhere dry. And here's what they look like. It's got little colors on it, and then there's a color matching in exact order from, let's see, total hardness, bromine, which I don't use, so you just ignore the second one down because I don't use bromine, chlorine, pH, and alkalinity. Dip it in the water, 2 seconds, 1, 2, and then you're supposed to wait approximately 10-20 seconds, something like that, to let the colors, you'll see colors on here. If you can get a look at them, get my face out of the way, adjust. Then all you have to do is you line them up with here. Okay, boom. Total hardness, right on. Ignore a second one because bromine I don't use. Now look at that, really light on my, if you can see, really light on my chlorine, so I need to add some chlorine. pH, a little bit down, but that also has to do with the chlorine. Alkalinity, same thing. Once you adjust the chlorine, it'll kind of adjust those back into check. So let's add some chlorine really quick. Again, there's different ways you can do it. Don't do what I do, or up to you. They say you're not supposed to sprinkle these in. I do. It's not that much, but I was in here a long time last night, so. Now I turn it on just to get them mixed up a little bit so they're not just sitting on the bottom, but I wouldn't recommend putting these in right before you get in. Do that after you've gotten out, or middle of the day if you know you're not going to use it till later on in the day. I wouldn't go putting these in right before you get in. And that's it. Chemicals, easy peasy. Not that hard, right? Oh, I will say this. I said this earlier, read the directions. Read the directions, read the directions. You know, another quick thing I'll mention is this lid. As great as it is, it's pretty durable. Like I said, you inflate this part and put it inside. This thing always loses air. I watched reviews from 2 years ago and people said the same thing. So I can't imagine it's a manufacturing defect of any kind, or they would have resolved it by now. I'm guessing it has something to do with the heat in the water, sitting on top of the spa, in the sun. No idea. But you will constantly, and this is my second time in a week, constantly have to blow this thing up. But hey, it's exercise. Whatever. Okay, to cover it up is pretty easy. Just pick this bad boy up. Set it on there. Line it up. Actually, mine, for some reason, I don't know the way I set mine, or the way that it is. If you look at the lettering where it says Sally Spa Miami on the top and the bottom, if you line it up, then the clips pretty much just line up. So, quick tidbit, just click. Click, and you get the point. Go all the way around, click them all. I recommend keeping them on. The wind could blow it off, or in my case, it hasn't been windy yet, but we get pretty windy here in Chicago. It does do a great job of holding the heat in. I push this down a little bit, make sure it's sitting on top of the water. It does a great job of holding the heat in. But here's another thing I wanted to show you. People ask, how did I fill it? Well, if any of you are old enough to remember waterbed fill kits where you would take apart your faucet in your kitchen or whatever and screw on a little hose, you can't do that because this is one of those Price Pfister eensy schmeensy faucet deals. So I actually had to rig something up to fill my hot tub, which turned out to work, but I will show you that. If you've seen these hoses, they're you know, they fill them up, they expand, and you get like 25 feet or 50 feet ones. They're like, what is it, pocket hose, I think it's called. I found it on the internet. They're those as seen on TV. I'm sure they sell them in some of the convenience stores and stuff. But I also added this thing called the Water Bandit, just kind of like a rubber thing. So that faucet I just showed you, I took that and I jammed this up on there and then used a hose clamp to make sure it didn't leak. And that's how I filled the hot tub. And it turned out to work really well because it only took me maybe to fill this hot tub 177 gallons, maybe an hour and a half, maybe at the most. And I had it set on medium as far as my faucet like pressure. I didn't have it from hot or cold. I thought I was gonna first cheat it and use all hot water, but I switched it to medium so it had more pressure. When I was done, I checked the temperature of this thing, which isn't now, but a week ago. As soon as I was done, it was 99 degrees. So kind of a quick cheat. Okay, and here's what we look like at night with the projector on. Watching Elvis. I haven't seen it yet. Actually, I can go bigger. Actually, I could go bigger, 110 inches before the hot tub was in the way. Now I have to rig up another way to get that bigger, but pretty cool. Huh? Sit here chilling. Projector going, rocking and rolling. Got your hot tub rocking. And just sit here in the tub, rub a dub. And watch TV. Oh, it's Enzo, my roommate. What's up, buddy? High five. Hey, man, just get in here. Just get in here, crack a beer. Let's have some fun. Hot tub time. Yeah, turn it on, turn it on. Oh, yeah, hot tub time. Now, the most important part of owning a spa. And this is very important. Very, very important. When you're done setting it up and you get everything ready, take your favorite beverage, sit back, and enjoy. Cheers.